Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Otaku Heaven coming at you with the D.Gray-man review. Now, this was supposed to come a day or two later, but I had more time than I thought I have, so I figured I was going to go ahead and make it and upload it. You guys can either hate me for saying I was going to upload it a later day, or enjoy that I uploaded 2 videos, or maybe even 3 today, if I have as much time as I think I do now. But anyhow, I want to start off with early D-Man. Go over a couple of the characters, some of their powers, and the dislikes and likes I had about the early part of D.Gray-man before all of this occurs, before a level 3 Akuma appears, or before any powers awaken or anything like that. Now, we got a cliche for Lena Lee, basically boosts that make you super fast. That's her power. And she can basically walk on air essentially, with her boots being able to jump over and over again. Alright, so that's Lena Lee's power. We also got to see Lavi's power, which is actually pretty unique. I actually enjoyed Lavi's power. He's got a small hammer that can stretch infinitely but doesn't change weight on him. So it could be 100 meters long and it still weigh however much it weighed. Like, I don't know, I'm assuming like 3 pounds when it's in its baby form. But it still delivers that weight on the impact of the hit. And he also gets a bunch of seals that he can use with it. You get to see a fire seal that basically summons a fire tornado within a certain radius. And we got to see Alan. He's the main character, Alan Walker. He has 2 different powers. He has the basically he's got an extended hand that can also swap some. It's like a claw basically, and it can also swap into a gun that can shoot out whatever type of energy bullets that he has. He's only been shown once, but I'm assuming they're gonna go further with that. I don't know yet because this year they did announce that the manga for D.Gray-man will continue, and if he gets new bullets, that'll be pretty badass. Like um, later on, you'll see Jazz Debbie, one of the family of Noah, who also gets some bullets like that. But anyway, we got to see one of my more favorite characters. I love this guy, Bookman. Bookman is awesome. He basically records history. Bookmen are basically people who record the history that doesn't get recorded, the secret history. And Lavi is the successor of Bookman, and they basically have no need to cause ties with any of the good sides or bad sides of people. So they don't want to like join in on any wars. They hate the fact that all the wars are going on. At least Lavi does anyway. But my problem with it is the whole first like 50 some odd episodes, I believe it was. We only got to see up to level 2 Akuma, and they pretty much just wreck all those Akuma. Like there wasn't even a good battle ever until we got to like Summon, and then there really wasn't even much with Summon there. I mean, it was like, that's just all right. But anyway, I held on and stuck it out, and we got to see like the evolution of innocence in the second part of D.Gray-man, and also we got to see the evolution of the Noah clan, or certain members of the Noah clan, Tiki Meek to be exact. Um, basically, Alan is a point breaker. All right, well, let's go back for a second. Let's rewind. Let's tell you about what the story is. The story is about the family of Noah and the Millennium Earl. They want to destroy the entire world. Alan and the Exorcist are basically trying to stop them. That's their goal. They're trying to destroy the Akuma that the Millennium Arrow makes. How the Millennium Arrow makes the Akuma is, say for instance, you have Person A and Person B. Um, Person A is very sad that Person B died, and the Millennium Arrow appears to Person A and says, "Well, I have this body here. All you have to do is call out his name as loud as you can, and Person B will come back to life." Now, what happens is when that Person A calls out for the soul of Person B, it goes into the fake body, and then the Millennium Arrow orders the fake body to kill Person A, the one that wished the dude back to life, and take over their body, and then they become an Akuma, which is basically a demon. And Alan actually has a little spectacle on his eye that he's cursed with that allows him to see the suffering demon, the suffering people's souls within the demon. And how he got this eye is because he was also a victim of the Millennium Arrow. He tried to wish his one of his best friends, like his almost like a dad to him, back to life when he died. And when he did that, right before he killed him, the dude who had the soul, Mana, the dude that was like his father, he cursed Alan with that eye to be able to see people suffering in there. And I actually think he has some kind of connection to the 14th, which we'll get into later. But anyway, now Alan's cursed with seeing all the suffering souls before he kills the Akuma. And we do know now that if Akumas blow up without being like destroyed, basically Cross Mariam, the master of Alan Walker, can basically reprogram those Akuma to be good people until they turn bad and then they explode because they still have their bad urges. And then the soul doesn't get saved. So we heard a little bit about that with Road. Road commanded the Akuma to self-destruct, and once the Akuma self-destruct, then the soul just vanishes into an empty existence. So it doesn't get to get saved. It doesn't get to go anywhere like heaven or hell. It's just there in a black existence. All right, on to the evolution of Innocence. Basically, we got to see the first little hint at this one. Innocence protected Lena Lee after she went to her full body form equipped boots, and basically she was crystallized after that to protect her from a level 3 Akuma. And we got to see another interesting power. Miranda, she basically has the ability to stop time and heal people within a certain vicinity of her, which I've seen before, but it's still a pretty cool power. And we actually got to see some pretty good fights in this one, so specifically between Alan Walker and Tiki Meek, because Tiki Meek is one of the Noah of pleasure. Basically, he enjoys fighting. He enjoys fighting or whatever is pleasurable to him. He's a high class kind of person, dresses in tuxedos, has fancy banquets, and another member of one of actually my favorite D.Gray-man character, Road. Road is actually infatuated with Alan, but she's the first of the Earls. Um, the first of the Noah, the first of the Earl's disciples. The Noahs are all eras. The Noahs are all the Millennium Earl's disciples, and the way that they do whatever he tells them to do. So Road was the first one, so she has a huge connection to all of the other Noah and the Millennium Earl. And basically, she's the lapdog for the Millennium Earl, the first lapdog, so the most dedicated. Um, at the end of the anime, we got to see Alan Walker fight Tiki Meek, where Alan Walker became a point breaker. Basically, once your innocence is reaches over a 100% synchronization with your body, you can form something new. Like at one point, Alan had lost his. I don't want to spoil it for everybody, but at one point, Alan lost his arm, and he had to work to get his innocence back after Tiki Meek had actually beat him one time and crushed the innocence. But the innocence still had a little bit left in his body, and it covered the hole in his heart that Tiki Meek had left, thus effectively saving him. But he lost his innocence and had to go through a huge long arc to regain that innocence. And now, after he becomes a point breaker, he can make that innocence into a his whole arm now is manifested by his innocence, and he can turn his innocence into the edge end, which is like a basically a smaller version of his claw, but it's like a Freddy Krueger. If you've ever seen Freddy Krueger, he has three blades, or Wolverine, something like that. He's got a claw like that. He's I still don't think he's got the. I don't know if he's got the gun anymore. He never used that, but he gets to become Crown Clown. Basically, he's a clown because he's fighting all these Akuma, and he wants to save them all. He wants to save both humans and Akuma, and there's not room for that kind of dedication on the battlefield. That kind of emotion. That's why he's got Crown Clown, and he's got a big cloak that's like a defensive barrier now. And he also has the a big sword that can take the Noah out of a Noah and kill it, thus effectively turning the Noah back into a human. In the weird case that they don't evolve like Tiki Meek did, like he basically almost pulled the Noah completely out of Tiki Meek, and then Tiki Meek evolved and became an even more badass Noah. Only after Jazz, Debbie, and Wrath were defeated and killed, and then Conda and Lavi almost died during that not Conda and Lavi, Conda and what's his name? Crory. Crory almost died in that Crory's a vampire. That's his thing. He can suck out Akuma blood, but if he sucks out too much, he'll get infested by the Akuma blood and it'll kill him, turn him into ash. Basically, if an Akuma hits you with one of their bullets or anything, and you can't heal yourself, like if you're not a parasite type, parasite types can get the Akuma blood out of them somehow. I haven't really explained it, but anyway, if you're a parasite type, then you can heal yourself from it. If you get infected and you're not a parasite type, then you'll eventually turn into ash from the Akuma blood. However, basically, Crory can suck out the Akuma blood, and Konda's just like a badass swordsman who has Mugen is what he calls it. Basically, he can enchant a sword, then send out like little ghost boos. If you've ever seen or not ghost boos, like if you've ever seen Dragon Ball Z, you know the little ghost attack that what's his face has the fusion guy has, and he can send out basically three or four of those. And at the end, Tiki Mike evolves to basically trap Alan and all of the whole crew on a ship that is called Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark is a whole other dimension, and the Millennium Earl's trying to download Noah's Ark into a new Ark. While he's downloading it to create the new Ark, this one's going to be destroyed. And Tiki Mike traps them all there, and theoretically Tiki Mike would have died, but the Millennium Earl eventually showed up at the end of the fight to save Tiki Mike, but only after Cross Merriam, um, the master of Alan Walker, shows up to almost kill Tiki Mike after he's evolved into his Noah state. He's completely lost conscious in this state, by the way. And then the Millennium Earl comes in and saves him, and the only way that they were able to get out of that other dimension, the Noah's Ark, was that there was actually a room that the Millennium Earl didn't know about. He wasn't able to destroy, and the 14th passed on his musician playing skills that allows them to move the arc and recreate the arc back to Alan Walker. Now I'm thinking the 14th might have actually been Mana. Mana. They wrote a piano code in a language that Mana and Alan Walker were the only ones that understood, and Alan Walker was able to resurrect the ship, everybody on the ship, except for the Noah, and basically whatever he plays, he puts his wish into that song, and then that wish will come true within that dimension. Like he can open a door into another place from that dimension, like anywhere on the earth, he can travel in an instant, basically. Um, on top of that, basically, which I need to stop saying that so much. Sorry. We move on to the invasion arc. The invasion arc is where the Noah Lulabelle, basic, she's a cat lady that can transform into anybody. Like she mainly transforms into a cat, but she can transform into anyone. And basically, she comes in with a horde of level 3 Akumas and attacks the science lab and nearly kills all the scientists, turning some of them into skulls, which are people that protect an egg that's on the Millennium Earl ship that is like a demon factory. It produces demons, from what I understand. And basically, they assaulted or invaded the Dark Order in order to get that. Now, at the end of the invasion, we got to see a level 4 Akuma. Level 4 Akumas are like super boss. They take Alan, Walker, and Lavi and all of them, and basically they don't even compare. It took the Marshals, after almost being killed by the level 4, to come back at a later point to take out the level 4 with the assistance of Alan Walker. And Lena Lee, after she lost her innocence, don't want to spoil that for everybody, after she lost her innocence, she managed to do nearly the same thing Suman did by injecting the innocence when she wasn't ready. The only thing is Suman wasn't a compatible user, so he was, cast out of heaven by God and basically could become a fallen angel. Now, since Lena Lee was actually actually had convention with her ability to be a user as well, she was able to not only take in this innocence that she had lost at one point, but she was able to make it evolve. Now, they haven't classified whether or not she's a point breaker yet, but I'm assuming she's a point breaker if she's anything like Alan Walker was. And they got to kill the level 4 and save the arc, and they said the only reason that the exorcist exists is to take out the Millennium Earl, and that's where it ended. Which is a pretty bad place for the anime to end, but I guess you can't really blame them because the manga only had 7 more arcs, and I don't know if those arcs were out at the time that D.Gray-man's anime stopped airing, so hopefully with the new manga continuation, we'll get another anime adaptation of the D.Gray-man series, or maybe a continuation onto the people that actually made the first D.Gray-man series, because that would be pretty awesome. But anyway, that's my review of the D.Gray-man series. I'm going to give it a 8 out of 10 because I enjoyed it. It had a pretty good story, but the first half of it was just not there for me. It didn't do anything for me. The second half was actually, it's really good. The pacing was fine. The animation was fine. The story was fine. Overall, it was an excellent anime, and except for the first half. That's the only reason he gets an 8 out of 10 and not a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. Because 10 out of 10 would have to be extremely amazing, but a 9 out of 10 would be where D.Gray-man was if it wouldn't have screwed around with the first half of the story. With the Saw, guys. Peace.